The movie begins with a girl named Bobby. She misses her boyfriend Ko a lot because Ko hasn't been able to see her for a long time. She tried to call him, but when he didn't answer, she messaged Ko. Suddenly, Ko comes there and surprises Bobby after some time. He also proposes to her for marriage, and then Bobby says yes to the marriage. After that, they both kiss and start getting intimate. Later, Bobby went to the mall to shop for her wedding dress. Meanwhile, her friend Patty asks her if she is ready to spend the rest of her life with Ko. Bobby tells her that she loves him and says yes, she is prepared to spend the rest of her life with Ko. After hearing that, Patty says she wants a new boyfriend every night because she can't waste her life with just one man. It is revealed that Bobby was also quite romantic in her youth, and she used to make new boyfriends every day. However, since Ko came into her life, she has completely changed. Bobby also tells her friend that she should find a handsome man and get married. After some days, it's revealed that Bobby is not just Ko's girlfriend. They are also business partners. Today, Ko has a hearing in court, and Bobby went to court with her assistant to support her boyfriend. Later, when she exited her office, she saw a bike outside the court, and after seeing the bike, Bobby remembers her old days, when she used to love to ride a bike. Then Bobby comes inside the court. Meanwhile, Ko had yet to reach court, which caused Bobby to be under a lot of tension. Judge Marco also came to the court. After seeing the judge, Bobby's heart started beating fast because the judge was an attractive and handsome man. Ko also came there, and his hearing began. It is alleged that Ko's company is fraudulently working with another company named Gold, and that's why the company got a notice from the court. After that, Ko presents a few pieces of evidence to the court in his defense, and after seeing that, the judge discovered that Ko's company had not committed fraud. So, the judge acquits his company, after which Ko hugs Bobby. The exact time, Bobby stared at the judge with love in her eyes. After some time, Ko had to go to another city for his business. That's why he says goodbye to Bobby and leaves for another town. Later that night, Bobby's bachelor party was going to happen, and that's why she also invited her assistant, Tiago, who is also her best friend, to the party. However, Tiago refuses to come to the party while Bobby is about to start her new life, and she wanted to erase all her old memories and relationships. That's why she sells her old bike, which she was very attached to. After that, we saw the bachelor party with only girls present. Then, a boy came there and started dancing in front of them. He started stripping and taking off his clothes. At the same time, all the girls were enjoying themselves. After enjoying the party, all the girls gave Bobby her bachelor party gifts. One of the gifts breaks her heart. In the gift, she found some pictures of Ko when he was getting intimate with another girl. After that, Bobby locks herself in a washroom, and because of that, her friend Patty is troubled. Then Tiago also comes there, and he explains to her that she should come out. After that, Bobby came out of the bathroom. However, now Bobby decides to take revenge on Ko because she was angry. She brings her friends to Ko's office to learn more about that girl Ko was seeing, while the security guard on the door was not letting the three of them go inside. Then, the three convinced the guard that Bobby is married to his boss. That's why Bobby has brought some surprises for his boss, which they could go inside to keep in his office. Then, the security guard permits them to go inside. However, that security guard also starts to go with them. Then Patty seduces the security guard, takes that security guard to another room, and starts getting intimate with him. On the other hand, she starts searching in Ko's office. Then she finds out everything about that girl in the office files. Bobby finds out that the girl has been in a relationship with Ko for 2 years. After knowing this, Bobby gets very angry, and she starts breaking everything in the office. At the same time, however, the guard begins doubting after hearing the sound of things breaking. Patty was somehow keeping him busy. Then, after a while, the four came out of their rooms and said bye to the guard. After that, the three of them come to sit in the car. Then, Bobby is pleased to take revenge on Ko. Moreover, the next moment, she gets upset because what Ko did to her was wrong. After that, many days passed while Bobby was still crying because she was unable to forget Ko. Then, one day, Patty comes to her house, and seeing her condition, she takes her to give her a new makeover. and that new makeover was looking pretty sexy on Bobby. And with that, Bobby decided to end her business partnership with KO. After that, Bobby goes to see Judge Marco to take her file because she had forgotten it on the day of hearing. Then, looking at Bobby's new attractive look, Judge Marco also starts liking her. Later, when Bobby comes out of court with the file, KO comes to see her and apologizes. However, Bobby asked him to go from there and leave her alone, while KO was not listening to her. And suddenly, the judge comes there. After seeing the judge, KO leaves from there. After that, Judge Marco and Bobby go to a club, and they start talking to each other. That's when we see a girl looking at Marco. That's why Marco went to talk to her. And Bobby comes out of the club and starts going home while traveling. She calls her friend and tells her whatever happens to her that day. After that, when Bobby comes to her house, she sees the door open. As soon as she goes inside, she sees that all the stuff in her house is scattered, which means that someone has broken into her house and searched for something. Seeing her hot condition, she gets terrified. That's why she calls Tiago to her house. Then, after a while, Tiago reaches there. Then, while talking, Bobby tells him about Judge Marco, while Tiago tells her that Marco is not a good man and that she should stay away from him. And at the same time, he also proposes to Bobby, while Bobby tells him that they are just good friends. And apart from that, nothing else could ever happen between them. After listening to her, Tiago leaves from there. Now, Bobby decides to enjoy her life completely. That's why she buys back her old bike to return to her old life, and the next day, she joins the bikers club and goes on a trip with them. Then, we see that one of those bikers was Judge Marco. At night, Bobby and Marco talk a lot to each other and get intimate while talking. The next morning, Marco leaves her in bed and starts his trip. Moreover, one of the bikers went to talk to Bobby and told Bobby that Marco is a strange man. That's why she should avoid him, which sounds strange to Bobby. After that, when Bobby is in her office, she receives a strange message. In the message, there were some intimate videos of her with the judge. After watching the video, Bobby was tense and couldn't understand anything. Someone was trying to ruin her life. On the one hand, she doubts KO. On the other hand, she thinks Tiago might be doing that to her because she rejected him. Then, a few days pass, and one day, Bobby checked KO's laptop to see what was inside. When she opened the files, the laptop contained a history of all the illegal business KO was involved in. Also, whatever fraud KO company was accused of was true. That's why she calls Tiago and tells him they should go to the police. Meanwhile, Marco sends an invitation to Bobby. Then we see Bobby go to Marco's house, and they both enjoy it. They get intimate, and Bobby starts going to Marco's house again and again, and they both enjoy it a lot. They spent some intimate time together almost every day. However, one night, the same woman comes to see Marco, who was looking at him in the club. And that woman was Paula, who used to be Marco's wife. As soon as Bobby finds out that Marco was married, she gets furious, and she leaves his house on her bike. After some time, Bobby rode the bike very fast in anger, and suddenly, she had an accident and was injured. Later, Bobby was admitted to the hospital after many days of treatment. Then she gets completely fine and comes back home, and that's when Marco comes there to see her. He apologizes to her and says to come with him to understand his situation. Then they both went to the hospital, where Bobby has found out that Marco has a 4-year-old daughter who has some disease. When Paula was pregnant, she used to get all kinds of drugs, and because of the drugs, her daughter was born with the disease. That was the reason Marco couldn't live with Paula. Then, Bobby feels a little better after hearing him. Sometime later, Marco was looking at CCTV trying to find out about that man who had hit Bobby's bike. After some time, Marco asked his assistant for something so that he could keep an eye on the people around him. Bobby that, we see KO, who has been beaten up badly by someone. And just at that moment, Tiago was with him. And it's revealed that Tiago was doing all the illegal business all this time, together with a gang. Since Bobby stole KO's laptop, the gang members have been looking for Tiago and KO so that they can take their money from them. Meanwhile, to save themselves from all torture, Tiago wanted to kill Bobby in any way. However, Marco heard all of their conversation. Because Marco was keeping an eye on all Bobby's friends, Marco was calling Bobby again and again, while Bobby's phone was on silent mode, and she was going to file a police station with Tiago to file a complaint about Ko. Suddenly, Tiago kidnaps her from her car and takes her with him. Meanwhile, Bobby's live location was always with Patty through an app, and that's why. Marco takes the location of Bobby from Patty and starts following them. On the other hand, Tiago goes to a dark forest with Bobby, where Ko is digging a hole. They were going to kill Bobby and bury her there in the hole. Meanwhile, Tiago tells Ko that he has to kill Bobby. However, Ko couldn't kill Bobby because he still loves her. Moreover, Tiago gets angry at him and he takes the gun from him and shoots him instead of Bahi. And when he is about to start killing Bobby, Marco comes and starts fighting with Tiago. During the fight, Marco gets shot and he gets injured. After that, Tiago is about to shoot Bobby when Marco's assistant comes and shoots him from behind. Later in the end, Marco gets completely healthy, and Bobby and Marco got married and they are living a happy life. With that, the movie ends here. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Take care.